Yacht Alpha Nero, following the circulation of another online article critical of the transaction. The Senate approves changes to Antigua and Barbuda's search warrant laws, giving magistrates broader powers to authorize searches at any time during the week. And it has been 8 years since Anthony Thug Life Govaya allegedly evaded capture following an aggravated robbery at Carlisle Bay Resort. The news in detail starts now.
The local evening news is brought to you by Nagico, local agents Bryson's Insurance.
Good evening. Welcome to the ABS Evening News. A special welcome to those of you joining us right here on air, and a special welcome to those of you joining us across all our streaming platforms. I'm Nicola Barreto. Garfield Burford is on assignment. As per the norm, let's dive right into it this evening. Prime Minister the Right Honorable Gaston Brown is again defending the government's handling of the sale of the super yacht Alpha Nero following the circulation of another online article critical of the transaction. In a statement, Prime Minister Brown said his attention was drawn to an article published by an entity called National News Brief, headlined Antiguan Prime Minister Defamation Lawsuit Against U.S. Law Firm Backfires. He described the article, which is being circulated on social media in Antigua and Barbuda, as containing false and misleading claims about both his conduct and the government's handling of the Alpha Nero sale. The Prime Minister reiterated that the yacht was lawfully seized under legislation passed by Parliament after it was abandoned in Antigua and Barbuda following international sanctions against its Russian-linked owners. That should be Russian-linked owners. The Prime Minister also rejected claims that ongoing U.S. court proceedings are exposing his personal finances, calling the assertion deliberately misleading. He further said the article misrepresents his defamation lawsuit against U.S. law firm Boies Schiller Flexner and attorney Martin DeLuca, explaining that the action was filed in response to what he described as false and reckless statements that damaged his reputation and that of the government. More news now. Police in Antigua and Barbuda will sooner have stronger powers to obtain digital evidence after the Senate passed amendments to the Electronics Crimes Bill. The change requires individuals, businesses, and telecommunication providers to hand over electronic information when ordered by a court as part of a criminal investigation. Government says the law is designed to keep pace with increasingly sophisticated cybercrime and to prevent individuals or companies from withholding critical digital evidence.
We have to evolve, Madam President. No longer are people breaking in. Crime is happening over the computer, over the phone, in a click of a finger. They're becoming so clever and so wise, and technology has become so advanced that we have to protect ourselves, Madam President. And what I love is that there's a penalty for those who refuse to comply.
While failure to comply carries a summary conviction of fines of up to $100,000, 12 months in prison, or both, while indictable cases can result in fines of up to $1 million, up to 7 years imprisonment, or both. Well, before electronic data can be obtained, police must apply to a magistrate or judge for a court order requiring a person or company to provide specified digital information relevant to a criminal investigation. Opposition Senator Aswat Azil welcomed those protections.
Where certainly I would have loved to see an extension of the protection, Madam Chair, is an articulation about the use of that data, how that data is handled, how it is stored, and the sort of redress that citizens can expect when that data is destroyed or compromised.
Well, Opposition Senator Maleka Parker said the legislation brings Antigua and Barbuda's laws more in line with the digital age.
We are actually playing catch-up in this piece of amendment. And there have been a number of cases, as I would have referenced others,
in the Magistrate Code of Procedure Bill where electronic crimes are concerned. And I want you to know that generally the defendants have won based on constitutional premises and the limitation that was in the law.
Well, the bill covers data stored on computers and other electronic systems, disks, cassettes, microfilm, other mechanical or electronic storage devices. Well, the Senate has passed legislation that will overhaul how passenger travel information is collected and shared, in a move officials say will modernize border security and strengthen data-driven immigration controls. While the Advanced Passenger Information and Passenger Name Record Bill has been approved by the Senate, replacing existing legislation from 2016. We can tell you this: the new law updates the framework governing how authorities receive and process airline and vessel passenger data used for immigration and security screening. While central to the legislation are two systems: Advanced Passenger Information, or API, and Passenger Name Record, known as PNR, which contains detailed travel information submitted by carriers before arrival or departure. Under the bill, a new passenger information unit will be established to manage the flow of data, while a data protection officer will be tasked with ensuring compliance with privacy and data protection laws. Airline operators, ship captains, and their agents will be legally required to transmit passenger data within specified timeframes. The law also sets strict rules on how that information can be accessed, using stored and shared, including arrangements for cooperation with foreign authorities. While the bill introduces administrative penalties for breaches of the rules, including fines, while allowing affected parties to respond to allegations and appeal decisions to the High Court. It also provides for the electronic submission of all passenger data and outlines protections for officials acting under the authority of the system. Well, more news now, because the Senate has approved changes to Antigua and Barbuda's search warrant laws, giving magistrates broader powers to authorize searches at any time during the week. Under the amendments, warrants can now be issued 7 days a week when there are reasonable grounds to suspect an offense. Leader of Government Business, the Honorable Senator Shanella Govaya, says the change closes a weekend gap that allowed suspects time to hide or dispose of evidence and the proceeds of crime.
You know what, I can get away with a thing or two. I could hide what I need to hide, figure my life out on the weekend, because next time a search warrant is going to be issued is probably on the Monday, right? So they're going to find clever ways to get away with it, Mr. Vice President. And
Well, the opposition members, like their counterparts in the lower house, remain concerned about the impact on citizens' constitutional rights. Senator Malika Parker said the legislation needs greater clarity to reduce the risk of abuse.
This is not child's play. What we're doing here in this legislation will affect people and can help to strengthen police work. Case after case have shown us that our own courts have already exposed weaknesses in our current search warrants. Weaknesses. Okay? And so this amendment, which expands that, which broadens it, which opens it up so greatly, I think is a risk.
Opposition Senator Jonathan Wenner also proposed a 48-hour deadline for police to present seized evidence before a magistrate and raise questions about provisions allowing a single warrant to cover multiple locations.
Based upon normal convention practice, a search warrant is issued and executed on one singular place per search warrant. And until I get that clarification from the drafters, I've never seen that to be any change in that practice.
During the committee stage, Senate President Alencia Williams-Grant said Wenner's concerns could not be dealt with because they fell outside the scope of the bill before the chamber.
The question that you're posing should really be posed to the practitioners, because this is not being amended here. Understand me, what is before us is not the issue that you're raising. That's what I'm trying to get. So we wouldn't have the answer to give you because it is not here.
Well, the bill was passed without amendment and now awaits Gazette before coming into force. In other news, Member of Parliament for the St. Peter constituency, the Honourable Rawdon Turner, is accusing the owners and managers of Jumbie Bay of allegedly dumping sargassum seaweed and other waste materials at a site in the Parham community. In a post on social media, Turner declared, quote, "Enough is enough." The Member of Parliament stated, "Parham is not a dumping ground. The continued dumping of waste in and around our community, despite repeated complaints, is disgraceful, disrespectful, and completely unacceptable," end quote. While Turner further charged that the organization cannot continue to promote luxury and environmental stewardship while treating the people of Parham and the surrounding communities with what he described as contempt. He insisted that the abuse of the community must end and called on the company's management to comply with the laws of Antigua and Barbuda, just like every other individual and business operating in the country. The MP also maintained that the Cook's landfill is the only approved disposal site for waste in Antigua and Barbuda. Meanwhile, the executive management team of Jumbie Bay Island Company Limited says it welcomed the opportunity to discuss the matter with Minister Rawdon Turner earlier today. The company says as soon as the issue was brought to its attention, immediate steps were taken to address the situation. The management says the contractor responsible was instructed to remove the seaweed from the site without delay. In a statement, the company adds that it is strengthening its oversight measures to ensure full compliance with environmental regulations going forward. Well, let's switch gears a bit now because today marks 8 years since Anthony Thug Life Govaya allegedly evaded capture following an aggravated robbery at Carlisle Bay Resort. Police say Govaya, then 31, and 33-year-old accounts clerk Kathy Isaac conspired in 2018 to steal more than $98,000 from the hotel. Authorities allege Govaya carried out the armed robbery with Isaac, who was reportedly in a relationship with his brother. Govaya remains wanted by police and has not been seen since the incident. Officials believe he might have fled Antigua, triggering regional alerts at the time. Police Public Relations Officer ASP Frankie Thomas says the matter remains under investigation. His whereabouts are still unknown, says Frankie Thomas, ASP Frankie Thomas, and we continue to seek information from the public as well as within the region. Isaac later admitted both their involvement in a police statement and was sentenced to 2 years and 6 months in prison. The stolen money was never recovered. At the time, law enforcement had hoped strengthened regional policing cooperation would help locate Govaya if he had escaped to another Caribbean territory, but he has not yet been apprehended. More news now. Convicted murderer Salim Harrigan was sentenced to life in prison for the 2020 abduction and killing of Principal Customs Officer Nigel Christian. Well, in the aftermath of the June 25th sentencing, ABS sought reactions from the public. Most refused to comment, pointing to the sensitive nature of the case, its details and results. Well, here are a few comments from two individuals who spoke with our news team.
Just to see one person get convicted out of three, it's kind of, watching Law and Order, forensic file, knowing that the officers could have brought maybe several more charges against them, because even if you gather evidence without certain legitimate ways according to the law, it can get dismissed in court, right? So I think that had a part to play.
Well, the other says, based on his readings, Christian was an outstanding person and expresses sadness for the family as they watch this unfold from his killing to the verdict.
Hoping that the verdict and these actions that happened to him does not really discourage persons from standing up for what's right and doing the right thing. So I sympathize with the family. I hope that they get justice and justice in a way that feels right to them.
Oregon in custody since April 2021 cannot be considered for parole until he has served the minimum sentence of 40 years. Co-accused Wayne Thomas and LaShawn Bully were both earlier acquitted of the murder charge. Thomas remains in custody on a separate matter in connection with a 2025 Freetown shooting that left Gaddafi Junjun Evanson dead. More news now, because in just a few days, Prime Minister the Right Honourable Gaston Brown is scheduled to meet fellow CARICOM leaders for the July 5th to 8th 51st regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM. The meeting will be convened under the theme, CARICOM from Resilience to Renewal in a Changing World. On the opening day, Prime Minister of St. Lucia, the Honourable Philip J. Pear, will address the delegation. He will assume duties as chair of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community from tomorrow, July 1st. He had earlier given a justification for the renewal theme.
Renewal of our economies, renewal of our regional cooperation, renewal of our institutions, renewal of our opportunity for our people, and renewal of confidence in our collective ability to shape our own future.
While also giving addresses during the July 5th opening ceremony will be Dr. Carla Barnett, Secretary General of the Caribbean Community, outgoing CARICOM Chair, Dr. the Honorable Terence Drew, Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, and Raim Augustine Joseph, St. Lucian Rhodes Scholar. The Antigua and Barbuda Tourism Authority, the ABTA, is making a bigger play for the meetings and incentives market. While it has launched a new digital MICE guide created in partnership with MICEbook, giving planners everything they need to know from venues and hotels to experiences, sustainability, and getting there. The MICE industry refers to the meetings, incentives, conventions, and exhibition segment of the travel market. Well, according to Cherry Osborne, ABTA's Director for Tourism in the UK and Europe, the launch of our new MICE guide, Osborne says, alongside our presence at the meeting show, reflects our continued commitment to supporting event planners and showcasing everything the destination has to offer. And the launch comes as Antigua and Barbuda continues to build momentum following its recognition as the Caribbean's leading meetings and conference destination and ahead of hosting the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, SHOGM, in November this year. In 2026, the destination successfully hosted the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association's Caribbean Travel Marketplace for the second straight year. In 2025, the OAS's 55th regular session of the General Assembly, and in 2024, the SIDS 4 conference. Well, staying with SHOGM a little bit, the 2026 People's Forum, one of three major events scheduled as part of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, will place special emphasis on creativity and culture. It will align with the core values of the Commonwealth and showcase Antigua and Barbuda's vibrant cultural sector. Director General of the Commonwealth Foundation, Razmi Farouk, says the foundation is working closely with civil society partners and other stakeholders to ensure the programs reflects, or that the program that should be, reflects and advances the ideals of the Commonwealth. Teresa Goodwin has the details in this report.
Director General of the Commonwealth Foundation, Razmi Farouk, says the foundation firmly believes that creativity has the power to bring people together, inspire dialogue, and help tackle shared challenges across Commonwealth nations. She adds plans for the People's Forum are steadily taking shape, with key partners working collaboratively to ensure the program's success and deliver a meaningful platform for engagement, discussions, and cultural exchange.
The highlight of this year's forum will be the launch of the Commonwealth Quilt, an interactive exhibition featuring more than 1,000 creative contributions from people across the Commonwealth. The digital quilt will be accompanied by a selection of pieces in a smaller physical exhibition in Antigua and Barbuda.
Aside from creativity, the forum will explore the priorities set out in the Commonwealth Foundation's new 2026-2031 strategy.
It's focused on economic inclusion, climate and environmental justice, and freedom of expression. And so the forum will bring together invited delegates from across the Commonwealth who have a strong track record on these key issues, civil society organizations who have been working actively to promote in these areas, alongside representatives from government who are championing, issues related to our thematic areas.
The People's Forum has been an essential feature of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting for decades, providing a unique opportunity for Commonwealth citizens to engage directly with one another. In addition to the People's Forum, Shogum 2026 will also feature a business forum. Teresa Goodwin, ABS News.
Thank you so much, Teresa Goodwin. Minister of State Kiz Johnson says her appointment as Antigua and Barbuda's first country ambassador for women political leaders is a win, not just for her constituency, but for the country and the wider Caribbean. Johnson says the role will help advance women's representation in decision-making spaces while providing access to global networks and policy discussions. Shanakisha Francis reports.
Minister of State in the Ministry of Social and Urban Transformation, Kiz Johnson, says women remain underrepresented in high-level political decision-making across the world. Speaking on ABS's Antigua Barbuda Today, Johnson said her appointment as country ambassador for women political leaders will help advance efforts to increase the number of women in leadership positions.
When you look at the statistics, global, worldwide, it's just about 22% of women in the entire world that is at that top tier, high level decision-making area. And so we want to see more women. It's not that men are bad at it, okay? We're not under-bashing men type of thing. What we're saying is just as men have that actual space, women have that space too. And I always ask persons, who is better to represent a woman than another woman?
Johnson says the appointment also provides an opportunity to elevate Antigua and Barbuda's profile on the international stage. She notes that the organization brings together female political leaders from around the world, creating valuable connections and sharing ideas.
What this representation means is that I'll be sitting representing our country at the highest level, understanding the nuances and situations going on in other countries, and being able to bring back legislation, right, that can advocate for the betterment of women in Antigua and Barbuda. And that will trickle down, obviously, to the people of St. Philip South.
The minister says the knowledge and relationships gained through the role can help shape legislation and policies that benefit women and families in Antigua and Barbuda. She adds that representing the country in international spaces is an opportunity to showcase the talent and the capabilities of the Twin Island nation. Johnson was recently appointed as the first Caribbean ambassador for women political leaders in the Caribbean, a global network dedicated to increasing the number of influence of women in political leadership. Shanakisha Francis, ABS News.
Thank you, Shanakisha. Meanwhile, Minister of State Kiz Johnson is encouraging more women and girls to pursue leadership roles and make their voices heard. She says women should not be afraid to stand out or step forward in spaces where they have traditionally been underrepresented.
I want to tell girls that they need to take up more space. They need more women, because had I remained silent at the United Nations and not display the representation deserving of our remarkable Twin Island state, I would not be here. Right?
Right.
And there's a particular phrase I absolutely... Well-behaved women seldom make history. So to every girl who is in a space right now and people are telling them to tone down, the world needs more of us.
Biggest challenges facing women in politics is the combative nature of the field, which can discourage many from entering public life.
I do believe because of the nature of politics, we know it can be a very combative sport. A lot of women are more protective of their families and they don't want their name be called on the radio, on the television. We know, and it's not just in our local context, it is politics worldwide.
Yeah.
And I think that has forced a lot of women to stay within this space.
Well, she says she hopes her journey will inspire more women across Antigua and Barbuda and the region to enter politics and public service. In other news now, the Board of Education says hundreds of additional laptops will be distributed to students and teachers ahead of the new school year. Officials say the initiative is part of the government's continued push to integrate technology into education. Here again is Shanikisha Francis.
The Educational Devices Unit says its laptop program is designed to ensure secondary school students have access to digital learning resources. The devices come preloaded with digital textbooks as the education system continues its shift away from traditional hard copy materials. Charles Brown from the Educational Devices Unit explains.
The Educational Devices Unit program is specifically, for distributing laptops to all the students in the secondary schools, making sure that each student has the opportunity to have access to the devices, have access to the textbooks, because now we're not necessarily, given the physical hard copy textbooks. We're trying to move away from that and get into the digital copies, which are now provided on the laptops.
Brown says the Board of Education purchased 1,800 laptops last year, which have already been distributed to secondary schools. Another 1,200 devices are now being prepared for the upcoming school year.
The Educational Devices Unit has started a new initiative, a variation of the initiative from a few years ago, where last year the Board of Education would have purchased 1,800 laptops, which has already been distributed to all the secondary schools, and currently we bought a new set of 1,200 laptops, which are currently being programmed as we speak to distribute again to the new coming school year.
The board says the program is helping to create more technology-driven classrooms.
Yes, so all the secondary schools are being targeted. All the laptops from the previous year have been distributed to all the schools already. However, the new laptops that we have is just distributed for the new school year, which is first form. We're targeting all the forms, we're targeting all the teachers. We just want to make sure that everybody has distributed a laptop, everybody has access to the textbooks.
Brown says feedback from schools has been positive, with some institutions already fully incorporating the devices into classwork and assessments. However, they are also urging parents to help students care for the equipment and use it responsibly. Shanikisha Francis, ABS News.
Meanwhile, the Board of Education is reminding the public that education levy contributions help fund technology programs in schools, while communications consultant Kellyanne Boatswain says the revenue supports the procurement and management of educational devices.
So as the implementing agency, the Board of Education is responsible for procuring, distribution, and management of these devices to ensure that students across the public education system are powered for learning without limits. And one of the things that the Board of Education continues to stress is the importance of levy payments, because the levy contributions actually go to programs like this that will help us to continue to develop as a nation.
Boatswain says the board remains committed to expanding access to quality education through technology. She notes that the devices are intended to ensure students across the public education system have the tools they need to learn without limits. Well, that's the end of part one of our national developments. Let's tell you about what's coming up tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. I'm talking about AB Today, Antigua Barbuda Today, and as always, we have an exciting lineup for you. So we invite you to join us tomorrow morning, Wednesday, July 1st, the first day of July. We've got quite a lot of guests, and I'm sure lots of entertainment and education. So make sure and stay with us right here on ABS Television for Antigua Barbuda Today. And let's tell you what's also coming up a little bit after the break. Calypsonians appeal for more appreciation for the art form as the Calypso season heats up. I'm sure that's going to be a very interesting conversation. And later on in sports, we can tell you that the Windies women suffered an 8-wicket defeat to Australia in the T20 World Cup semi-final 1 at the Oval today. All of that and more right after the break. Stay with us.
At Nagico, the things that matter to you matter to us. Like knowing you're covered when your house gets flooded. getting your settlements quickly and fairly when a fire hits your home, and making sure your business can keep going even after an accident happens on site. At Nagico, we're about much more than just insurance. We're about the big things and the small things that mean everything.
Welcome to Hadid Dental Clinic, where your oral health and beautiful smile are our top priority. We utilize state-of-the-art technology, like advanced panoramic X-rays, for precise diagnostics. Our experienced team is dedicated to providing comprehensive dental care, from routine checkups and restorative procedures to enhancing your smile with professional teeth whitening. At Hadid Dental, we embrace innovation, like advanced intraoral scanning for accurate digital impressions, ensuring the highest quality and efficiency in your treatment. Whether it's complex procedures or detailed imaging, our commitment is to your lasting oral health. Hadid Dental Clinic. Your smile, our priority. Visit us today.
At home, it's the little things that matter. The moments we share, the care we put into every day. That's why families trust Anjo Wholesale for quality products that keep homes running with the right brands that put smiles on faces. Anjo Wholesale, delivering quality products since 1890 for every moment. Reporting live from Caribbean Union Bank's press conference, where bank representatives will address its customers and the media, explaining just how CUB simplifies life through its financing.
Today, my team and I will share with you how CUB's financial solutions are designed to simplify your life. Now, let's open the floor for any questions that you may have.
How can you help me as a retirement?
That's a good question. We offer customized retirement solutions at competitive rates.
How easy is it for me to switch my mortgage to CUB?
With attractive interest rates and minimal switching fees, CUB makes switching mortgages easy.
Do you offer point-of-sale machines?
Absolutely. All point-of-sale systems can speed up checkout and boost sales.
Those were great questions, and our team is here to further support you. We're Caribbean Union Bank, the bank that cares, and our doors are open to welcome you.
Welcome back to the ABS Evening News. Let's jump right into national developments now. A fresh call is being made for individuals to embrace Calypso as the countdown winds down for Carnival. Well, the call came from George Henry on Antigua Barbuda today, this morning, ahead of the Calypso Monarch semifinals on July 16th. He says it is an act of self-love.
Everybody have their thing in their country. We should support our thing if we really want it to reach anywhere. We had the best carnival in the entire Caribbean in the 70s. We could bring it back if we support our own and develop our own. I don't have a problem with the soca because I love soca, I love reggae. But during carnival, here, I want our thing. Our thing is important.
And of course, that's George Henry pleading, calling out the masses to please support our own. Calypso is we thing, and of course, remember the Calypso Monarch semifinals comes up on July 16th, and of course, it's Carnival, and we're feeling the rhythm, and it's important that we all support in some form or fashion. All right, it's time now for us to take a look at what's happening with the weather. And a little birdie told me no rain for me, and I'm not liking the sound of that, but we'll see what happens. Patrice is here with me this evening and to tell all of us what we can look forward to in terms of the weather forecast. Good evening, Patrice.
Good evening, Carla, and good evening to the listening viewing audience. We had a beautiful day across Antigua and Barbuda despite not having any showers. We see a tropical wave just west and east of the area. So when we come back, we'll get more into the weather.
The weather report is brought to you by Leeward Islands Hurricane Protection.
When the skies are clear and the winds are calm, we often forget how unpredictable Mother Nature can be. But when a hurricane strikes, it's the strength of your home that matters most. Whether you are preparing for your first storm or looking to upgrade your current protection, Leeward Islands Hurricane Protection has got you covered. Our expert team handles everything from custom design to professional installation, ensuring your home is as strong as it is beautiful. Call today for a free consultation. Leeward Islands Hurricane Protection, built strong to weather any storm.
And welcome back. Again, looking at the satellite imagery, that Saharan dust and dry air really moved in to dampen any shower development between these two tropical waves. And we are not seeing much in the way of showers today across the Eastern Caribbean. For us in Antigua and Barbuda, we had partly cloudy skies, hazy conditions with a max temp up to 33 degrees Celsius. Winds out of the east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Now tonight, maybe a passing shower might be possible late night, more so to the early parts of the morning. So you can say about 40% chance of showers. That low temperature around 25 degrees Celsius or 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Again, tomorrow, similar conditions. As you see, mostly dry conditions across the area. A 20% chance of showers, high temperature around 33 degrees Celsius. That beautiful sunrise at 5:37 a.m. and sunset at 6:45 p.m. Sea conditions are quite good, 4 to 6 feet. We do see slight increase in the winds at 15 to 18 miles per hour, but no advisories. But do exercise caution as you go out to the seas. Looking at our 4-day forecast, we see similar conditions for the next 2 days. Just a tropical wave might be in the area around Friday, so that's about a 40% chance of showers, but that wave is not looking to be a little bit more, so those moisture is going to keep to the south, unfortunately for us, but still 40% chances. We see those winds slightly increasing and might push a bit of moisture into the area. And again, 20% on Saturday. Again, the winds are going to get expected to increase as we go towards the weekend. The temperature is around 33 degrees Celsius, min around 25 degrees Celsius. So we do expect you to continue to hydrate for those hot days. And the sea conditions with the winds are expected to increase going into the weekend. So do look out for advisories going into the weekend. Looking at our tropical weather outlook, we see this symbol indicating that no development is expected for the system as that dry air moves in to limit showers and thunderstorm. East of the Eastern Caribbean, we see not much expected development over the next 7 days. With that, we've come to the end of our presentation. As we are your trusted source for your weather information, continue to follow us on our social media handles and get updated with our weather forecast via our hotline and our website. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you so much, Patrice. That Sahara dust, it's such a bummer, and you can feel the dryness in the air, and so unfortunate. I just hope that we can move forward really quickly, get some showers of blessings, and clean up and get this drought out of the way. So we will continue to do the rain dance, Patrice.
Yes, we will.
Thank you so much, Patrice. Okay, it's time now for us to take a look at what's coming up regionally and internationally. Well, we can tell you that a high court judge in Trinidad delivers his verdict in a businessman and his wife habeas corpus application following their detention last week on suspected conspiracy to commit murder. And internationally, the U.S. Supreme Court rejects President Donald Trump's bid to restrict birthright citizenship. All of that and more coming up right after this.
ACB, drive to 70. With ACB, we know BYD SUV.
It's been 70 years, let's celebrate.
Our legacy strong, our future's great, yeah, yeah.
Every loan, every tap that you do brings that BYD SUV closer to you.
Drive to 70, then we celebrate. ACB strong, the future bright. Drive to 70, keep the party alive. Come with our SUV and take the champion drive.
Every loan you take, every tap you make.
Yes, each one gives you more chances to win.
The prize? A brand new BYD SUV.
take the champion drive.
Terms and conditions apply.
Antigua and Barbuda will be at the center of global business this November. For the first time in its history, the country will host the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, CHOGM. A key part of those discussions will be the Commonwealth Business Forum. It will be hosted by the Commonwealth Secretariat in partnership with the government of Antigua and Barbuda and the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council, CIWIC.
The road to CHOGM will therefore focus on new initiatives for high-impact investments, building deeper trade and investment partnerships.
A lot of business people will come to our country and they will share technological developments, they will share investment opportunities, and we certainly want to make sure that our local business people are at the table.
Decision makers and thought leaders in business will converge on Antigua for this blockbuster event. Local businesses will get their chance to network and explore cutting-edge partnerships to take their enterprises to the world. The sub-region will also be engaged as the forum will feature the Investment Summit with a participation from the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. Find out how you and your business can be a part of the Commonwealth Business Forum from November 2 to 4, 2026. Contact the planning office today at 464-5113. The Commonwealth Business Forum will be game-changing. Be a part of it.
Welcome back. Regional developments now. In Trinidad and Tobago, a High Court judge has ruled against businessman Dominic and his wife Genevieve Hadid in their habeas corpus application, which would have secured their release. The couple, along with their 69-year-old relative, Star Sabga, were detained last week during police operations linked to a suspected conspiracy to commit murder. We have more from TTT News.
The matter, heard virtually over 2 days by Justice Frank Sipasad, arose from the couple's detention on June 24th. They challenged their arrest, arguing it was unlawful and seeking immediate release. However, Justice Sipasad ruled that their legal team, led by Senior Counsel Douglas Mentz, failed to show any irregularities in the preventative detention orders used to justify their continued detention. As a result, the Hadids were ordered to pay the legal costs incurred by the TTPS in defending the matter. The case will now proceed before a different judge. The couple, along with their 69-year-old relative Star Sabga, were detained last week during police operations linked to a suspected conspiracy to commit murder. They remain at the Golden Grove prison in Arouca as the state of emergency continues, which is expected to run until mid-September.
To St. Lucia now, where that country has launched baby heart screening, which is a test that can detect serious heart defects before symptoms appear. We have more from DBS Television.
The initiative, led by Envision Medtech's founder and CEO Brody Galloway, is introducing Masimo Pulse oximeters, non-invasive devices that measure oxygen levels in a newborn's blood to help identify critical congenital heart disease shortly after birth before life-threatening symptoms develop.
I'm here for a few days actually to implement screening for newborns in St. Lucia. So congenital heart disease is the most common birth defect. 1 out of 100 babies are affected. And through this screening initiative, we're able to screen babies for this condition, allowing them to get treated earlier and have a better chance at life.
Galloway's commitment to the cause is deeply personal. Born with hypoplastic left heart syndrome, a rare congenital heart defect, he has dedicated his career to expanding access to essential medical technology for countries with limited healthcare resources. Envision Medtech works to procure and distribute Masimo brand pulse oximeters through its CCHD Pulse Oximetry Screening Project, helping hospitals strengthen newborn screening and reducing the need for families to seek diagnosis abroad.
Guyana's President Irfaan Ali says he has not been informed of any decision by Suriname to independently finance and build the proposed Quarantine River Bridge. It follows comments by Suriname's Public Works Minister Stephen Sang that the project would be fully funded by Suriname and may include tolls. Demerara Waves reports that President Ali says Guyana remains committed to the original agreement for the bridge to be developed as a joint venture between the two countries, adding that Suriname's President Jennifer Gerling-Simons had assured him that her government was finalizing its side of the arrangement. While the comments come after Suriname's National Assembly was told that several financing options, including toll collection, are under consideration and that a new tendering process may be required. Well, that's a quick look at regional developments. When we come back, international news. Stay with us.
From the richness of the Caribbean soil,
fresh, pure, naturally powerful.
from wholesome roots to irresistible crunch. Made for your kitchen, your business,
your lifestyle.
export quality, Caribbean grown.
Crispa, real Caribbean, real flavor. Available now.
International news now. The U.S. Supreme Court has rejected President Donald Trump's bid to restrict birthright citizenship in a blow to one of his signature anti-immigration initiatives. While the court, in an eagerly awaited decision on the final day of its term, ruled 6-3 to maintain the right to American citizenship for nearly everyone born on U.S. soil. France 24 has the details.
The 6-3 ruling, delivered by Chief Justice John Roberts, upheld the long-held interpretation of a pivotal clause from the Constitution.
Children born in the United States to parents unlawfully or temporarily present are subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and are citizens at birth under the 14th Amendment's Citizenship Clause.
Hours after he was sworn into office for a second term, the US President signed an executive order to limit birthright citizenship. However, it was quickly challenged and blocked by lower courts. Trump then pushed even harder, attending in person the oral arguments in the Supreme Court. A key claim by his Solicitor General was that the amendment in question was encouraging illegal immigration into the country.
It has spawned a sprawling industry of birth tourism as uncounted thousands of foreigners from potentially hostile nations have flocked to give birth in the United States in recent decades.
The American Civil Liberties Union, however, defended the importance of upholding the Constitution and argued that the proposed change would be logistically chaotic and impact hundreds of thousands of people each year.
Thousands of American babies will immediately lose their citizenship. And if you credit the government's theory, the citizenship of millions of Americans, past, present, and future, could be called into question.
Major developing story today, and it continues. In other news now internationally, a June 30th deadline set by anti-migrant groups for undocumented foreigners to leave South Africa has come and gone. Thousands of foreigners left the country. Others are waiting for assistance to do the same. Al Jazeera reports on the root causes of this problem.
For many migrants, the message is not political, it's personal. Makeshift camps have emerged in Johannesburg and Durban as thousands prepare for voluntary return or deportation, many fearful for their lives.
I'm crying because I'm living with small children. The problem.
People are very scared and it's dangerous, so people are running away.
Some arriving back home overwhelmed with relief. The pressures driving this debate are not new, but in South Africa they are mounting. Unemployment stands at around 32% officially. That's roughly 1 in 3 South Africans without work, among the highest rates globally. Then there's crime and safety. South Africa records around 5,000 to 6,000 murders every quarter. That's roughly 60 people killed every day, one of the highest murder rates in the world. And social pressure. Although migrants make up only around 4% of the population, according to the UN, but in public debate, they're often blamed for the economic shortcomings. Security has now been tightened nationwide as authorities try to prevent a repeat of past xenophobic violence. South Africa's president has warned against any escalation.
Well, that's a quick look at international developments. It's time now for us to shift gears because we're getting ready for the sport report. And Terry is here with me this evening. I know we have a lot to talk about. It's cricket, it's World Cup, and so much more. Good evening, Terry.
Good evening, Nicola. Well, West Indies women bow out of the ICC T20 World Cup today with a loss against Australia. That is our top story. We have more to come right here on the ABS Evening Sports.
The FIFA World Cup is coming, and all eyes are on Lamine Yamal.
You like it?
So hot, Jack. I can't take this heat. Please, just do something about it. I can't take it anymore. It's not even summer yet.
He knew exactly what to do because when the heat is this disrespectful, you don't just need a fan, you need a plan. He headed straight to Mikasa Imports, the home of media cooling, for our sleek 12,000 DTU to the heavy-hitting 24,000 and 36,000 BTU models. Starting as low as $18.99, Mikasa has the perfect fit for every room. For a limited time, you get free installation with your purchase. Professional, fast, and zero hassle.
Hey, baby. And I got the 36,000 BTU just for you, baby.
Oh, that sounds big.
I know you like it big.
I do.
Later that night.
Baby, what's wrong?
It's too cold.
Too cold?
Lock off the AC. It's too cold.
Yeah, but you said bigger is better.
Not this time.
Welcome back. As promised, we begin with cricket. A disappointing end to the West Indies Women T20 World Cup campaign as they suffered an 8-wicket defeat to Australia in semi-final one at the Oval today. Batting first, West Indies posted a paltry total of 125 for 7 from their 20 overs. Hayley Matthews top scored with 30 and Deandra Dottin, who had a medical emergency and was lifted off the field after the national anthems, was passed fit to play, added an unbeaten 26 to the total. Sophie Molyneux, Ashley Gardner and Georgia Wareham picked up 2 wickets each to restrict the Windies' batting. In reply, Beth Mooney's unbeaten 61 and 36 from 36 deliveries anchored the Aussies home with a 35 not out from Gardner. A disappointed Hayley Matthews spoke with reporters after the loss.
We just, for the entire tournament, I feel like we haven't had too many individual stand-up performances. I think we had Shemaine in that first game alongside Aaliyah. We had Chanel score 50 in that match against England. But I think when we look overall as a group, we haven't had enough players really put their hands up and take control of a game. And in T20 cricket, you always need someone stepping up and putting down good performances. And I think that's probably what we lack not only today, but the entire tournament.
Well, cricket will make its long-awaited return to the Olympics after 128 years, featuring 6 teams, men's and women's T20 competitions in Los Angeles. Sharif Sargent has our story.
The West Indies, as a composite ICC member representing multiple Caribbean nations, is not recognized as an IOC National Olympic Committee and is therefore ineligible to participate in the Olympic Games as a unified team. This means the familiar maroon cap will not be seen on the Olympic stage. Instead, a dedicated Caribbean qualifier event will be staged if the West Indies men's and women's teams finish among the 8 highest-ranked teams not yet qualified by December 31, 2026. This tournament will determine which individual National Olympic Committee from the region will represent the Caribbean at the ICC Olympics qualifier. For the women's competition, Australia, Great Britain via England, India and South Africa have already qualified as the highest placed eligible finishers from Oceania, Europe, Asia, and Africa, respectively, at the ongoing ICC Women's T20 World Cup 2026. The men's competition will see Africa, Asia, Europe, and Oceania represented through the highest-ranked eligible teams in the ICC Men's T20 International Rankings as of December 31, 2026. Host USA are eligible to qualify automatically for both events, subject to featuring in the top 15 of the relevant ICC T20 International Rankings during the qualification period from 30 June to 31 December 2026. That event will feature 8 teams in each competition, with the winner claiming the final Olympic berth. Chief Sergeant, ABS Sports.
More cricketing news. After announcing his retirement from international cricket, Ben Stokes has backed Harry Brook to succeed him as England's Test captain, pledging his 100% support to the man who served as his vice captain. ESPN Cricket Info reports Brook, already in charge of the white ball teams, was overlooked for the captaincy when Stokes missed last week's second test at the Oval on disciplinary grounds. Instead, Stokes' predecessor Joe Root led the team for the first time in over 4 years, though he could not prevent England slipping to a heavy defeat. Cricket Info understands that England's management are reluctant to burden a player with the captaincy in all 3 formats. If Brook is elevated to the Test captaincy, he may therefore step down from the role in at least one white ball format. Sam Curran and Jacob Patel would be contenders to succeed him. In football, here at home, the Antigua Cup 2026, hosted by the Young Warriors Football Club, will kick off early next month. Speaking on AB today, organizer Colin James shared what the week will consist of.
And we have somewhere in the region between 20 to 25 teams spread over maybe about 6 to 8 different clubs taking part. And we also have an invited team, Bath United of Nevis, coming to take part for the 3rd consecutive year. So it's a whole week of football, coaching, mentoring, because we're going to bring in nutritionists, we're going to bring in health experts.
James also expressed the long-term vision behind the tournament.
So what we're hoping to do within the next two years or so is to really get a club out of Europe or even Canada or the United States to come and be part of this. It's a whole sports tourism venture. Because when we conceived it about 3 years ago, there was a particular individual who had a lot of contacts with clubs in England, Premier Division clubs, Championship clubs, and we wanted to see how we could bring one down during the off-season or the pre-season for these English clubs to play against our players.
Antigua Cup 2026 will run from July 5 to 12 at the Buckley's Primary School with a minimum of 5 matches daily. In news from the World Cup, Norway have booked a spot in the round of 16 with a 2-1 win over Ivory Coast, their first knockout victory in World Cup history. Antonio Nusa gave the Norwegians a 1-0 lead in the 39th, while Amad Diallo equalized for Ivory Coast in the 74th. The prolific Erling Haaland sealed the win with his 5th goal of the tournament and moved Norway into the round of 16. Also today, Kylian Mbappe became the all-time leading goal scorer in World Cup knockout matches as France cruised to pass Sweden 3-0 to set up a last 16 tie with Paraguay. A strike in each half took Mbappe to 10 knockout stage goals, while he now shares the lead in the Golden Boot race at this tournament with Argentina's Lionel Messi, with both on 6 goals. Bradley Barcola netted the other goal for the victors. And last night, Morocco came from behind to beat the Netherlands on penalties in Monterrey, Mexico, to showcase their World Cup credentials and reach the last 16. Cody Gakpo put Netherlands in front after 72 minutes, but in a grandstand finish, Issa Diop thumped home a stoppage time header, sending the game into extra time and ultimately penalties. The Dutch missed 3 of their spot kicks, which allowed Ismail Saibari to seal a 3-2 win and book a date with Canada in Houston on Saturday. The Netherlands loss forced the head coach Ronald Koeman to resign as Netherlands manager after their World Cup exit. In basketball, NBA superstar LeBron James will return for an unprecedented 24th season, but not with the Los Angeles Lakers. a move that rocked the league on Tuesday as free agency opened. Truly an honor to wear the purple and gold while trying to continue the greatness and legacies that came before me, James says. He's the league's all-time leading scorer. In a post on X replying to a thank you post from Lakers co-owner Jeannie Buss. James joined the Lakers in 2018 and led them to their 17th and most recent title in 2020 in a postseason played in the COVID bubble. And finally here for us, Serena Williams came close to a sensational comeback win on her Wimbledon return, but narrowly losing an epic three-setter to Australian Maya Joint. Well, Williams lost 6-3, 6-7, 6-3 to the Australian, despite the crowd's best attempts to help Williams open the latest chapter of her tennis career with victory. Of course, the 44-year-old Williams received an electric reception as she stepped back onto the pristine grass courts, on which she won 7 singles and 6 women's doubles titles. That's the sport, Nicola.
Terry, what a way to go, Serena. Well, I'm sure there's lots more to come.
Of course.
All right, that's how we wrap up this evening's newscast. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Nicola Barreto. Thank you so much for joining us.
And I'm Terry Andrew. I'll be back here with the ABS News at 10. Hope you join us then. Good night.